So my name is, can everybody hear me good? I think I'm coming through on the mic a little bit so that I'm being recorded well. My name is Renain Julian. I'm the Data Research Librarian at Florida State University. Today in this very first session, we're going to discuss it. It's going to be an overview of research data. And so what we're going to do is kind of give you a solid foundation for the rest of the course on understanding what is and what isn't research data. And I'm going to challenge you to think differently about what is and what isn't research data. And we're also going to be talking and working together in groups, so please don't get too comfortable where you're at. Actually, before we get started, I meant to do this earlier. Would you guys be pals and open these for me and hand out some note cards to everybody? Pens if anybody needs them. Well, thank you. You're all going to need about 4 or 5 note cards for our exercises this afternoon. Take as many as you need. I have 100, so we should be all set. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time telling you about myself. Very first thing you'll find out about me is I'm a little bit different than a lot of the other participants and presenters here. I'm a social scientist by nature. I'm not a scientist, and so my understanding of research data may be a little bit different than you all, but I hope you'll enjoy and appreciate my perspective. I have a bachelor's degree in political science. All of my degrees are from Florida State University. I have a master's degree in urban and regional planning, which is city planning, where I studied transportation networks and accessibility. So most of my experience with data management is managing GIS files and managing survey data, things of that nature. And obviously I have a master's degree in library studies, because all librarians do. And what I do as the data research librarian at Florida State, here's one.
How many do we take?
4 or 5 should be fine. So what I do at Florida State is I provide a lot of consultations around managing research data. So a lot of researchers and students come to me at the beginning of the research life cycle, and they come to me with a project proposal, and we work together and develop a data management plan. A lot of times when we write data management plans, as you all will learn later, they are to meet and exceed funding requirements. So people are requiring our researchers at our university to write data management plans as part of their grant proposal process. And what I do is I sort of help work through that and help them kind of walk through the process. And I also, you know how most librarians, they curate materials like books, journal articles, they develop collections, they help people with reference in those areas. I kind of do the exact same thing, except I deal with quantitative information. So I build data collections to help people find and use research data and things like that. And I'm the subject librarian for geography, urban planning, economics, and geography. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to, by the end of this course, hopefully, you'll all be able to define research data in your own way. One thing you'll find is I'm not going to give you a prescriptive definition that is the be-all, end-all definition of research data. I'm going to explain the different types and stages, formats, and relevant software that need to be managed throughout the data management process. So we're going to get you to think about things outside of traditional terms and give you a more encompassing definition of research data. And we're also going to discuss common storage formats and to get you to think about saving data in a way that's going to be useful for future generations. We'll talk a little bit about proprietary formats, but not too much because you guys have a whole session on open science and things like that. So a lot of what I'll talk about today, I'll touch on things that you're going to learn much more about down the road. As far as questions are concerned, whenever you have a question, just raise your hand. If I don't call on you, it's because I'm not paying attention, so speak up. Any questions before we get started? Does everybody have note cards yet? Almost. Who doesn't have a note card? Good.